Thank you. Gnitseretni. Gnitseretni. A word that can completely change how you think of your thoughts. Gnitseretni. Pause and have a look at this. Interesting. The moment you stop believing every thought you have, everything changes. I call it the interesting theory. We all judge, sometimes out loud, but more often in our heads. Those quick little thoughts about someone's looks, their behavior, maybe their voice. And I assume you already did it today. And I know some of you judge me the moment I came up on this stage. Why is she wearing a suit? Why that color? I know, I do it too. And I used to do it a lot. And that's why this matters, because judgment of others and ourselves doesn't stay in the head. It shapes how we react, how we relate, and how others are experiencing us. And self-judgment, that is so exhausting. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? What's wrong with me? So why do we do it? Well, I've done the research, and I've done a lot of risk assessments. But I'm also a parent and a human. And for me, everything changed the moment I started to notice the thoughts I had in my head. And I let curiosity in. And that's how the interesting theory was born. A quick question. Have you noticed on your Apple or top 10 list on Apple or maybe Spotify list that some new songs show up, but are these old ones that stick around? Imagine your mind works the same way. New thoughts show up and go, but are these old ones that keep returning? The brain repeats what's familiar, not because it's true or kind, just known. So what you play the most ends up on repeat. And most of these loops are not even consciously chosen. They were picked up from school, work, family, culture. And over time, they start to feel like identity. Like this is who I am. But it's not really always the identity. It's adoption. That's how we belonged and that's how we survived. And very useful back then, but now just heavy. And trying to force it away, like I shouldn't do that, rarely works. And here's where the word curiosity comes in. The feeling of curiosity activated with one word, said in a gentle and respectful tone. Ah, interesting. That creates this pause and the pull to want to know more. And when we know more, we can choose. Because judgment of others is rarely about them. It's more often about us. So we should use judgment as information. Instead of saying, what's wrong with them? We should ask with curiosity, what is this situation showing me about me? I'm going to give you 2 examples. I think you're all going to recognize the second one. The first one. When I see my partner relaxing on the couch, maybe watching Netflix, I become very judgmental. Interesting. Is that me wanting permission, probably from myself, to rest too? Example number 2. It's Monday morning. I'm late. So I start to judge the driver, the slow driver in front of me. Yeah, I know you all recognize that one. And then it's up to the question, interesting. Is that actually me being stressed out and in need to take control of my life. Either way, the interesting theory should be used as a wake-up call, not to blame you or not to criticize you, but to show you important information. It's not for blaming others, and it's not for digging endlessly into everything. Sometimes we need to follow Mel Robbins' advice and just let them. Curiosity should be used when it's kind and useful. Like for patterns that keep costing you your energy, the ones that leave this bad taste, and the ones you're ready to stop carrying. To exemplify, let's see if you recognize this one. And sadly, it's a true and common situation. It's a mother who reaches out for help. Her child comes home from school with this big sigh. I failed the test. Inside the mother, this instant reaction of disappointment and anger visible on face and tone and body. The child catches this immediately, of course, and doesn't hear, it's okay. What lands is, I disappointed you, I failed you. The mother, she sees this reaction in the child and tries to fix it. It doesn't matter. But it's too late. That night, the mother feels so much shame and regret and promised to do better. But next time, it's the same procedure. And this is not a bad parent. This is a pattern that's been repeating itself over and over and over and over again. And trying to punishing herself here doesn't work. But interrupting the pattern in depth does. And here's where the theory becomes practical again. So when the feeling of shame and guilt rises, just pause and say the word interesting, and then ask, why that strong reaction? And why anger? Anger is usually a protection against fear, pointing towards a belief. If my child fails, everything will fall apart. And now go deeper. Interesting. Where did that come from? And an older belief show up. If I fail, I won't be loved or accepted. And there could be a voice of a teacher or a parent or a partner or the culture. And that's the interesting thing, because that's old and that's familiar. And that's something that's been carried for a long, long time and has nothing to do about the child and the situation. And in that moment, something loosens because we found its source. And there's a choice to not carry it further. And that's how patterns begin to break. Not through shame or not through force, but through curiosity. I'm going to leave you with one final picture. Imagine yourself wearing this backpack, and you didn't pack it all by yourself. It's filled with patterns and beliefs and truths. Once helpful, now just heavy. You don't have to throw the backpack away. You don't have to blame who helped you pack it. You just take one item up. Interesting. Some go back in. Some don't. So next time you experience yourself judging someone, maybe relaxing or prioritizing themselves, or maybe yelling at someone you think is too slow, ask with curiosity, interesting, what is this situation showing me about me? Pause, be curious, and choose. Kni, se, ret, ni. Thank you.